I want to move to what could happen in the upcoming legislative session that starts in January. Kathy, you noted, excuse me, Arizona has a century-old abortion ban on the books that could be enforced if Roe is rolled back and the state that this is all left up to the states. The only exception in that law is for abortions necessary to save a woman's life. Kathy, is that the ban you would like to see remain in place?
I would say that if Roe is overturned, that pre-Roe law will go back into effect. And so, yes, we will be in a state where abortion is not legal except to save the life of the mother. And that is what we anticipate would happen. Now, the parameters, the contours of the decision in the Mississippi case could change that. We'll see. It might be that the court allows the 15-week limit, but they don't go so far to overrule Roe and Casey. So then Arizonans would be looking at something like a 15-week limit. Let's pass a law that limits abortion in that 15-week time period. So it all depends on what happens when we get the decision. I agree with most that we probably won't get it till June. So it remains to be seen what really happens in the next legislative session.
So something needs to happen in the next legislative session, you're saying.
No, I believe we have the equivalent of what's a trigger law. That if Roe versus Wade is overturned, then our pre-Roe law is back in effect. That we're one of those states. There's something like 9 or 12 states that have laws like ours, and we would contend that those laws go back into effect. They've not been able to be enforced simply because of the Roe versus Wade decision. So we would see that going back into effect.
So, Chris Love, and this is speculation. Just to be clear with everybody, we're aware of that, but if that existing law took effect, and we don't know when that could happen, but it could stay in place conceivably for several months or more, how would you respond to that? An outright abortion in Arizona.
Well, I think that's what we're looking at. Kathy is right. We do have a trigger law in the state of Arizona, and so Arizona will go black with respect to abortions. That will put women in danger. Simply put, that will put people who can become pregnant in danger because they will still need abortion services, and they won't be able to get safe, regulated abortion services in the state of Arizona. It also provides a financial burden to folks who are seeking those services, and that they're going to have to travel out of state. And we have, our neighboring state, California, obviously is a safe haven for abortion. So folks would have to have the financial wherewithal to travel there. And that's what makes a 15-week ban so dangerous. Kathy and her friends have been chipping away at abortion rights in Arizona for decades at this point. So although we have safe legal abortion here, accessibility is an issue. So we know that most folks who become pregnant don't find out that they're pregnant until after the 6-week mark. And then they have to go through the burden and the barriers of finding the resources in order to get an abortion. That takes time. And so 15 weeks is a stringent amount of time in order to get meaningful access to folks who have barriers in the first place, and mostly financial barriers with respect to receiving abortion services.
I want to end with a look ahead under the scenario we've been discussing here. If the Supreme Court issued a ruling in late June, which is typically how this happens, this would have an almost immediate effect on the primaries and the general election, the midterm election. Cathi Herrod, if the Supreme Court does, as you believe it will, and throws this back to the states, is that a winning issue for Republicans in the midterms here in Arizona?
Absolutely. It's a winning issue for all candidates. Life is a human right. Those candidates that advocate for life, for protecting the life of the unborn child and their mothers, will be successful at the polls. Those candidates that advocate for an extreme position on abortion through all 9 months of pregnancy for any reason, that is the losing position.
Last word on this, is this a winning issue for Democrats?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I believe that it's a winning issue. Again, like I've said, 7 in 10 Arizonans believe pregnant people should be able to make their own decisions about abortion, not lawmakers. Abortion has always been a polarizing issue, right? But the science hasn't changed. There are no facts that have changed. The only thing that has changed, I'm sorry, Kathy. The only thing that's changed really is the makeup of the court. And that's why we've seen this case taken now, where these kinds of cases have been rejected time and time again and ruled out as unconstitutional. And so I don't want to play in demonizing facts, right? Facts. I want to deal with what's really happening on the ground. And the fact of the matter is regardless of whether this court overturns Roe and Casey, there will be people who need abortions and they will get those abortions, but we cannot guarantee the safety of those abortions.
And we have to end it there. Cathi Herrod and Chris Love, thank you very much for a great discussion.